Hello, everybody. I'm Hoarder Gamer, and this is the review of the movie Split. More precisely, the Split Blu-ray, which just came out, I believe it was last Tuesday. So this is our first Blu-ray review I'm going to be doing, and this movie was excellent. So I figured Split would be a great choice for that review. As you can see, we got a copy of it right here on Blu-ray. And let's just look at these quotes here. One of M. Night Shyamalan's best films, period. I actually do agree with that. I think that's a really good statement. It's one of his, I'd say, one of his top three films. And let's see here. We have the role of James McAvoy's career is also. It's hard for me to disagree with that too. What he does here is pretty amazing, and we'll talk about that in just one moment. Okay, so Split is about dissociative identity disorder. And it's the idea that someone has multiple personalities, usually due to some sort of trauma or difficulty in their life, and they can't cope. So a personality is created in order to take the brunt of all that. So the person can kind of cope and survive through it. Well, this is the story of Kevin Wendell Crumb. Kevin has 23 personalities. There's Barry, the fashion designer. There's Dennis, the pervert. Patricia, who's motherly, basically the protector. And Hedwig, a 9-year-old who's into hip hop and dancing. So these are the main personalities that we get to know throughout the course of the film. And there's a total, like I said, of 23, but these are the main ones that we get to see through the excellent performance from James McAvoy. I will actually say his performance is a Mac-a-joy to watch. It was fantastic. Now, the funny thing about that pun, even though that pun was not funny, is that the main actress of the movie is named Anya Taylor-Joy. So that's a bizarre little coincidence there with that. I didn't know that when I made that stupid pun. The stupid pun is one of the first things I came up with when I was thinking of doing the review. Hey Squab, Maniac Phantom, good to see you. Good to see you guys. And so what happens is it's basically this young woman named Casey Cook. And she is with her friends, but you see immediately that she doesn't seem like the other girls, like her friends. There is a difference there, and that's shown to us the way everything is filmed, in that she's in focus and everyone else is slightly out of focus. And it's a very interesting mechanic that Shyamalan uses. He's basically a master of the camera and telling the cinematographer what he wants. It brings to mind like Hitchcock. I've always felt that Shyamalan was very much in the vein of Hitchcock, and just an auteur when it came to anything visual. His films are always going to have a certain fantastic look to them. And so they do this to kind of show us that she's separate from everybody else. And then what happens is it's her and her two friends. They are abducted. They are leaving a mall after some sort of celebration or party. And Kevin Wendell Crumb actually is the one who abducts them and takes them to this room. Not really a cell. It's not like a prison. But while there, they're obviously terrified, trying to figure out what's going on. And they're, freaking out, of course. And they're talking to, at that point, Dennis. And Dennis is basically sent to find these girls and bring them there. And he does that. And basically, we learn more about Dennis, and it's frightening. to say the least. He is, as I said, a pervert, but he's trying to keep those urges in check. VCR, good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, Split reminds you of Memento. Yeah, I can see that because, yeah, I could see that. I'm afraid to say why that would be because I'm trying to avoid all the spoilers. There's going to be some, but yeah, I could definitely see why you would say that. I'm actually, if I get enough viewers for this and on YouTube and everything, then I'm going to do another video, which is an analysis where I completely break the film down and look at it that way. So yeah, it's basically the idea of trauma and what that trauma does to us. And one of the best lines from the movie is, "The broken are the more evolved." And that says a lot about what's going on here. And as I mentioned, there's 23 personalities. Now, the issue is this. The personalities, we don't know for sure if Kevin knows about them, but the other personalities know that about a 24th personality known as the Beast. And that's where things get very interesting with the Beast. And is it real? Is it a figment of the imagination of one of Kevin's alters, basically? And we look at fascinating ideas, like basically taking the light is when one of the alters goes and basically takes control of Kevin's body, becomes the personality in charge, per se. And it's almost like musical chairs inside your mind. It's pretty wild. And basically the idea was Kevin was choosing sleeping, protected people. And that's explained as you watch the movie. And these three girls that are taken, they're very different. All three of them are quite different. It's the idea, did he take the right girls? Did he make the right decision? Did he misjudge things? Is something you definitely want to look at when you're watching the film. And the Beast itself is actually mentioned in the film. It's a sentient creature who represents the highest form of human evolution. He believes the time of ordinary humanity is over. Yeah. So, kind of frightening stuff there. But the movie is fascinating and all about the ideas of trauma. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer. But yeah, McAvoy's performance is just unbelievable. Patricia is fascinating. A British, but very cold. And not the normal British accent that McAvoy has. I believe he is British. I'm not the best with accents, but I believe he is British. But it's not even that accent. It's a different type. And the 9-year-old Hedwig is really wild. You truly believe that this adult man is this child. It's pretty wild and pretty frightening at the same time. His skills are just really impressive. And also, most people know at the end there's a big reveal. I don't want to get into that right now. I don't want to spoil that if you haven't seen the movie. I don't think that's fair to do that because it's one of the best reveals I've seen in any movie. So, yeah, I really don't want to do that to you. We are going to look at the extras too. The Blu-ray has a number of extras. Basically, there is a extra deleted scene, and all I can say is, thank God they didn't keep it. It is basically a replacement for the final scene, we'll say, with Kevin, and it is not a good choice based on the scene that it would replace. That scene is fantastic. It looks at things through a number of point of views, we'll say. And this is really short, and it doesn't get the point across. So M. Night was very smart in removing that deleted scene and not having that be like the actual ending, because it was the actual ending of the film at one point. Then we have a better than rank and file EPK. type of video, which talks about you know, the making behind the scenes of Split. What's neat about it, though, it lets us know that M. Night Shyamalan made certain decisions in his career and the kind of secrecy he works in. And it's really fascinating. So that part's cool. So I do recommend checking that out. It's about 10 minutes, and I'd say about 3 to 4 minutes is really good stuff. Definitely worth checking it out. One of the most interesting things to me is M. Night hires talent from TVN films that he loves. So he finds out the name of, like, the lighting person, or he finds out the name of the cinematographer, and then he actually tries to hire them and see if they'll work with him. He actually got a cinematographer from the movie It Follows, which is pretty wild. And then he got this one woman who worked on True Detective to work with him on Split. So that was pretty cool. Then we go to the actual deleted scenes. There's 14 minutes and 37 seconds of deleted scenes. However, about 10 minutes of it, you can choose to have M. Night Shyamalan explaining to you what the scenes are about, why they weren't in the final movie, and, you know, what they're about. And what's amazing about this is there's an entire character. I don't know if I've ever seen anything to this extent. An entire character known as Professor Shaw is completely removed from the movie. There's about, I think, 10 deleted scenes. He's in like 3 of them with about 5 minutes of screen time, maybe 6 minutes, something like that. And it's wild. Basically, there's a psychiatrist, or psychologist, I'm sorry, that Kevin Wendell Crumb has been seeing, and she's all throughout the movie. She's in the movie herself, but she talks to Professor Shaw a number of times, and it's just wild because it's all about her loneliness and her crush on him. And he's like 30 years old. And hi, Miss Buff, how you doing? And it was a very unique thing. But I can kind of see why it was removed. But it's so bizarre because he's an Emmy Award-winning actor. He was Christopher Darden in the O.J. Simpson film by Ryan Murphy, a series by Ryan Murphy. So that was pretty wild. Sterling Brown is the name of the actor. So it's very rare I've seen anything like that, where it wasn't an actor in just one scene, but an actor that was a pretty big part of the film just completely excised like that. It was very different. But yeah, this film is fantastic. If you like M. Night Shyamalan, I would put it up there with Unbreakable and Sixth Sense. I think it is better than Signs, so I would put it as its 3rd best movie. Because let's face it, Sixth Sense and Unbreakable are pretty amazing. But yeah, it's definitely a return to form. And yeah, I look forward to his future movies, which, you know, might have something to do with this movie, possibly. Who knows? And I want to thank you all for watching. You've been awesome. And listening to me ramble and occasionally attempt to review this. Thank you very much, everybody. And I hope you have a good one. See ya.